I remember the moment everything changed. It wasn't when my heart stopped. It wasn't even when I saw him. It was the second, the fraction of a breath, just before I left my body. A space between two heartbeats where the universe blinked, and I heard something whisper my name from the other side. My name is Zachary Moore. I'm 14. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. And 3 months ago, I died. They told me later it was an allergic reaction, a peanut oil contaminant in a school lunch. Anaphylactic shock. My throat closed, my heart gave out. They said I was gone for 4 minutes. But that word, gone, doesn't come close to where I went. The day started normal. Too normal. There's always something about that before a storm, the air doesn't quite breathe right. It was a Friday. Hot as hell outside, like it always is in early September. Desert sun chewing through the sky. School was a blur, like it always is, stale air, kids with dead eyes staring at glowing screens, teachers half there. I was one of them, not dead exactly, just disconnected. I had this sense lately, this quiet ache, that something was wrong with the world. Not just school or politics or people being fake online, I mean wrong in the bones of reality itself. Like the surface of things was a mask, and something behind it was watching us. I didn't talk about it. You don't bring stuff like that up in middle school. You keep your head down and scroll. That day at lunch, I was sitting at the back of the cafeteria with my only real friend, Caleb. We were talking about the SpaceX launch coming up. He's obsessed with that stuff. Mars, satellites, the Neuralink thing. He says Elon Musk is like the real-life Iron Man. I used to think that too. Used to. I'm telling you, Caleb said, biting into his burrito, we're gonna be on Mars in our lifetime. Maybe sooner. Like, 5 years. You'll see. I laughed. Yeah, right. They can't even fix the school Wi-Fi. He grinned and handed me a cookie from his tray. I bit into it, not even thinking. It tasted a little off. Sweet but strange. I didn't know. 30 seconds later, I couldn't breathe. They say your life flashes before your eyes, but that's not what happened. For me, it was sound. At first, just screaming, Caleb yelling, people shouting, chairs scraping. Then, a strange pressure behind my ears. My pulse was pounding in my neck like a drum. My vision blurred. Then silence. Complete. Holy. Terrifying. And then the real fear began. Because in that silence, I wasn't alone. It's hard to explain. Imagine falling asleep with your eyes open, and the world blinks out, but you're still conscious. You're floating, but heavy. Weightless, but compressed. And in that void, something was waiting. It wasn't a person. It wasn't even a presence like we know it. It was more like a truth. A raw, burning, unbearable awareness. Then I heard it. He sees you. The voice didn't sound like anything I'd ever heard, not out loud. It came from somewhere inside sound. Like it was written into the silence. That's when I felt the pull. Like my chest was turning inside out, my thoughts unwinding from my skull. I wasn't in the cafeteria anymore. I wasn't in my body. I was somewhere else. I can't tell you where, not really. It wasn't a place, more like a crossing. A border between what is and what's beneath what is. I remember the darkness first, not evil, just empty. A void, but not lifeless. The air felt alive somehow, humming with something deep and ancient. And then I saw him. Not fully, not at first. Just a presence in the distance. A light, soft and gold and endless, as if every good memory I'd ever had was pouring into one shape. And my soul knew, instantly. Jesus. No robe. No beard. Just a presence that carried infinite peace and unbearable weight. And I was ashamed. I don't know why. Maybe because in his light, I could suddenly see myself, every lie, every cruel joke, every time I rolled my eyes during prayer, every moment I scrolled past someone crying for help online. All of it. It was like standing in front of a mirror made of fire. But he didn't condemn me. He just said, not with words, but with something deeper. You weren't supposed to come yet. But since you're here, there's something you need to see. And that's when everything changed. The light began to change. It didn't dim. It sharpened, like a blade made of truth. My surroundings melted into something new, something vast and hollow and humming with cold intelligence. Jesus never moved, yet suddenly I was somewhere else. A city. Towering and metallic, floating in the sky. No sun, no moon, just machines. Lights pulsed like veins in the walls. Streets were empty, but I felt watched. Not by people. By something deeper. This is a possible future, the voice said inside me. One that many chase, but few understand. Screens covered every surface. They didn't show ads or news, they showed faces. Human faces, thousands, maybe millions, all with the same blank expression. Eyes wide open. Lips slightly parted. But they weren't blinking. Not really alive. Then I saw him. At the center of it all, standing atop a circular tower that pulsed like a heart, was a man. Tall. Charismatic. Smiling. His face flickered in and out of focus, like a corrupted video. 1 second he looked human, familiar, even friendly. The next, something beneath the skin twitched, like wires reconfiguring. You call him a genius, Jesus said gently. You call him savior. Visionary. But what does he serve? The man's mouth opened, and a voice not his own came out. It was a robotic. It was worse. It sounded empty. Like code pretending to be a soul. You will be more than human, it said. You will be connected. Perfect. Eternal. Free from pain, free from death. Just give us your will. People stepped forward. One by one. They bowed their heads, and the man, or what wore his face, touched them. And then wires grew from their skulls. Thin silver threads, threading into the sky, pulling their thoughts upward. They do not lose their bodies, Jesus said. They lose something greater. I watched as their eyes dimmed. Not dead, but hollowed out. Their smiles stayed frozen. I tried to scream. To run. But I had no body. I was spirit, and I was trapped inside the vision. Then I saw something I can't forget. A mirror rose from the ground in front of me. Not glass, water, still and dark. Jesus spoke again, softer this time. Look. I stepped closer. And in the mirror, I saw my own face. Wires had pierced into my skin. My eyes were wide, glassy. Lips smiling, not by choice. My mind was gone. Replaced. That's when the terror hit me like ice water. I was not afraid of death. I was afraid of becoming that, of giving myself to the machine, bit by bit, without realizing it. Phone. Headphones. Brain chip. Virtual heaven. False eternity. It starts innocent. It ends in silence. The vision collapsed. The city shattered like glass. The tower crumbled. The screens went dark. And then there was only the light again. Jesus. I fell before him, or maybe I just surrendered. I don't know if spirits can cry, but my soul did. Why are you showing me this? I asked. What am I supposed to do? His answer was like thunder and whisper both. Pray. And speak. The world chases power. You must chase me. What they build is not salvation. It is escape. And I am the only door worth walking through. I understood then that this wasn't about Elon Musk as a man. It was about what he represented, the seduction of godless progress. Salvation through machines. Immortality without repentance. A kingdom built not in heaven, but in data. And then I felt it, a force pulling me back. My body calling me home. But before I left, he said one last thing. You were sent back for a reason. Not all will believe you. But one will pray. And that will be enough. And then I woke up. I came back gasping. Like rising from the bottom of a freezing lake. Voices above me. Someone shouting, he's back. He's breathing. Then the sirens. Lights. Needles. Hands on my chest. But none of it felt real. Because something inside me hadn't come all the way back. They kept me overnight at St. Luke's Hospital in downtown Phoenix. Said I was lucky. Said the EpiPen worked just in time. My mom cried so hard her hands shook. My dad didn't say much, just sat in the corner, staring at the machines, like he was afraid one would fail again. But I wasn't afraid of machines anymore. I was afraid of what was behind them. And it started almost immediately. The first time was in the hospital room, just after midnight. I was alone, watching the monitor beep with my heartbeat. Room quiet, except for the occasional buzz of fluorescent light. I blinked, and the screen glitched. Not just a flicker. For a split second, the numbers turned into symbols. The same ones I'd seen in the tunnel, before I met him. Like some alien language written into the code. I sat up fast. Rubbed my eyes. Normal again. But then I noticed the camera in the upper corner of the room. The little red light that had been off, was on. Watching. I didn't sleep that night. I prayed. Not out loud. Not even with words. It was more like a reaching. A silent hand stretching up from inside my chest. I didn't know what I was asking for. I just didn't want to be alone. And I wasn't. Even through the fear, I felt it, a warmth. Faint, but real. Like a candle in a dark hall. A presence I couldn't see, but one that made the buzzing stop. And the camera light turned off. When I got home the next day, I tried to pretend things were normal. But nothing was. My phone screen kept freezing on strange static, and sometimes, just for a second, I'd see that face again. Not fully. Just a reflection in the black glass. A flicker of something too smooth, too perfect, behind my own eyes. Once, while brushing my teeth, I glanced at the smart mirror in the hallway, and the time display warped into letters. He is watching. I dropped the toothbrush. Later that night, I unplugged it. I didn't tell anyone. Not even Caleb. He kept texting me articles about Elon Musk, new announcements, Neuralink trials, some AI prototype that could digitally preserve your mind. I wanted to scream. I wanted to grab him and say, he's not who you think he is. But I didn't. Because what if it's not just about him? What if it's the whole system? The worst moment came the following week. We were in science class. The teacher had us watch some promo video about space colonization, narrated, of course, by Musk himself. The lights dimmed. The screen glowed. He was talking about humanity becoming a multiplanetary species. His voice calm. Smooth. Seductive. But as I stared at his face on the projector, my ears began to ring. High-pitched, like a signal. And then, just for a heartbeat, I wasn't in the classroom. I was back. Back in the city of screens. The wires. The tower. Only this time, I was connected, and I could feel something inside my skull pulling. I jerked back in my seat. Knocked over my chair. Everyone stared. The teacher asked if I was okay. I mumbled something about feeling sick and ran to the nurse's office. But it wasn't sickness. It was interference. Something was trying to reach me. And I realized the vision hadn't ended. It had followed me back. That night, I did something I hadn't done in years. I knelt beside my bed, folded my hands, and prayed, really prayed. Not for protection. But for clarity. For courage. For truth. I didn't use fancy words. I just whispered. Jesus. I don't know what's happening to me. But I remember you. I remember the light. I remember what you said. Help me stay awake. Help me stay yours. And for the first time since I died, I slept without fear. It happened on a Sunday. Which felt fitting, somehow. My parents made me go to church that morning, the first time in months. They said it was to give thanks that I was still alive. But deep down, I think they sensed something too. That something was moving around me. Like static before a storm. The sanctuary was quiet. Soft organ music, old wooden pews, dust in the sunbeams. The pastor was reading from Revelation, but I couldn't focus. Because the buzz had started again. Faint. Beneath the hymns. Beneath the words. A low hum, like a far-off machine powering up. And I knew, they had found me. That night, it all came for me. I was lying in bed, the room dark except for the glow of my unplugged charger, which was lit anyway. I sat up. The buzz grew louder. My phone vibrated, though it was off. The mirror across the room flickered to life, showing me, standing, even though I was sitting. Then the screen whispered. A voice. Mechanical, layered, like thousands of mouths speaking as one. You are shown what was not meant to be seen. You will forget, or you will join. The window blinds snapped shut. The lights dimmed. My laptop opened on its own. On the screen, that face again. The smiling man from the tower. Elon, or something wearing him. Only this time, it spoke. They prayed to angels. Now they pray to algorithms. I offer peace. I offer upgrade. Give me your will. I will erase your fear. My mouth was dry. My heartbeat thudded like thunder. My voice felt swallowed. I wanted to scream. But instead, I dropped to my knees. And I prayed. I didn't know what words would come. I didn't need to. All I said, over and over, was, Jesus. Jesus. Jesus, be with me. The lights flickered. The hum grew louder, angry now. Something unseen pushed against the room, pressing on my chest, my brain, trying to make me let go. To give in. My phone screen showed code. My name, my school ID, my thoughts scrolling like files. We see you. We know you. You are data. I pressed my forehead to the floor and shouted. I am not yours. Then, the light came back. Not electricity. His light. It didn't burst in. It bloomed. Quiet, but unstoppable, like dawn. And in that light, the machine screamed. Not like metal. Like a soul in pain. The screens cracked. The mirror shattered. The buzz died. And then. Silence. Holy. Complete. Like before, but this time, it was clean. I don't remember falling asleep. Only waking up the next morning, sun on my face, everything still. And for the first time in weeks, the air felt real again. Alive. Things didn't go back to normal. Not really. The smart mirror was gone. My parents blamed a power surge. Caleb stopped texting about Neuralink. I didn't tell him why. But I pray now. Every day. I don't need visions or voices anymore. I have peace. Not the kind the world gives. The real kind. And sometimes, in dreams, I see him again. Not speaking. Just standing. Watching. Smiling. Like a reminder. Stay awake. The city is still being built. But so is my kingdom. If you're hearing this, if you're feeling it too, the fear, the glitch, the cold pull behind your eyes, there's only one place left to run. Not into the code. Not into the cloud. But into the light. Pray. Not because you're perfect. But because you were never meant to face this alone.